is a really good tool to use is actually the ear line. And it kind of lines right up with where the spine is. And we're pretty much almost there. I'm gonna bring you back just a little bit. But what we're doing is just sort of lining up our line right with how the ear goes. You need to have the patient really turn their head so their face is facing that wall. If they're looking up or anything, it won't work very well. And you also gotta make sure they're not like tilted forward like this. Okay, so we should be 1.5 above crest, 2 inches in, or very close to being, I would say, almost on ACES. And again, go ahead and take a big deep breath in, blow it out, hold it out, good. And then this one here, so this one is for your Z joints. That's what we're trying to get, is looking at the Scotty dogs. If you're here on the belly, it means you're way too far in. And that's where a lot of people kind of first want to center, is like too far forward and on the belly. Our spine is still back here. So that's kind of what you want to try to hold on to, is it doesn't move super far in when we move. Okay, now go ahead and turn all the way and face that wall. So this is when she got there, but this is when we really want to make sure that the patient's hips are stacked over each other and also their shoulders. So I'm going to take this out from underneath you, and then go ahead and lift your head one more time. Perfect. So this would be my suggestion, is try to just get their head sort of propped up like this for them. And so that way they don't have some of the pillow like laying, they're not laying on some of the pillow. I want you to bring this arm back just a little. Perfect. Good. They might feel like they're all the way on their side, but they might not be. So you kind of have to position them a little bit. Okay, so that's perfect. I'm just gonna poke in you one more time. We're back to being right at crest. And then again, we're just trying to run it right across the back. So again, you don't want to be too far forward. You should have like a little teeny bit of light right back behind the person. Unless if they have like a ton of fluff, then you're not going to have that, okay? But we do want to have just a little bit of light here, and you should have light kind of crossing over the midline of your patient, okay? So light in the back, and then some light crossing over like your mid-sagittal plane, okay? So we're dead right at crest. And now this is when technically our book says that we could take a lead strip and put it behind our patient. So because we've got this light here, we could stick this guy right here and just essentially ensure that any kind of scatter that's coming off of her will hit this, and we're covering that ionization chamber that's right underneath, okay? All right, so still no shielding or anything. You're gonna take another big deep breath in, blow it out, hold it out. Good. Okay, technically this last one is supposed to be going to a little plate. Honestly, if you guys keep the 14 by 17 in, I'm okay with it, because that's basically what you're going to use for digital, and you're just coning it. So I'll show you what I like to use for the spot. So you do an AP, you guys will do an oblique, just one, and then you're going to do your lateral, and then the very last one is your spot. Okay, so book centering is at ACES, so I'm just going to poke on you one more time. We're feeling for ACES here. And then what they want is for us to be about 2.5 inches posterior to ACES. Okay, so somewhere around there. Yep. And then we can just cone in. It's basically a tiny little square. It looks really small on your patient, but really it's a lot bigger. All we're looking at is top of sacrum and our final little vertebra. A lot of techs won't do this whole stupid ACES thing. They will do like what Miss Rose showed you guys, is some kind of hand thingamajig, okay? I like to do it where I put my thumb at the top of the patient's crest like this, and you kind of put the flat of your hand right along the back. Now you don't have to touch them if you don't feel comfortable doing that. You can kind of leave it off, okay? Because it is sort of in like the butt area, essentially. So you can leave it off, And then what you're using is your index finger. Okay, you can use your index finger, and I go to my very last little crease. Okay, go to my last little wrinkle. Now, if you're a lefty, you can cup the crest like this. Okay, even if you're a righty and you like to do it this way, you can do the same thing, and it pretty much gets you there. Okay, so you can kind of cup the patient's crest, and you bring your finger in, and then you're going to your very last. Sometimes, if you have small hands, you might be a little bit farther off, and that you guys will get a feel for it when you get out to clinicals. Okay, so you have to be a little bit farther back onto the back. You're just putting your thumb right at crest, and then moving this to where you're at your very last knuckle. Or you could do it this way. You have to, like, you'll feel like you have alien hands. Yes, you do. You have to, like, do this weird thing, and you really got to spread them, okay? And this one is just suspend, don't breathe, don't move, okay? So you don't want to be too far back, okay? You should still be in line. You want to try to still visualize where the L spine is. So we're still just right in line with the back.